Hey,
Hi,
it's Tash and Carly,
and you're listening to Motherhood,
not as we planned.
So get comfy, grab a cup of tea,
Or a glass of wine, and let's start talking about all the things too many of us avoid discussing.
Hi guys, and welcome back to this week's episode of Motherhood Not As We Planned. How are you feeling this week?
How am I feeling? Yeah, I'm definitely better than last week. Yeah, the whole no contact thing is definitely a new experience. I have had my moments of like feeling very weak and being like, do I contact? But I know it's not a good thing. And do you know what? I feel like sharing it on Instagram or TikTok does give me that kind of like strength, because so many people are just so lovely sending in the messages being like, oh, I'm on day 12, like, hold on, like, it does get better, and sending me like cute memes and reels, and like, so it does really help. And that's just another reminder of why I like doing the podcast and why I like sharing things on Instagram, because you don't feel alone. I think when you're going through something like this,
Yeah, you do. Yeah, feel very much on your own.
when you feel like alone and like no one else really understands you, it is a really horrible place to be. I think I've just come to the conclusion, like really like self-reflecting and journaling and everything. You know, sometimes I sit there and I worry that I'm going to regret something, or have I fucked this up, or should I have done that? And I think that if two people are really, really meant to be together, then nothing that you do will mess that up.
Mm-hmm.
And if two people are not meant to be together, then actually there's nothing that you're going to be able to do to fix it. So I'm sort of holding on to that
Trust in the universe.
and just sort of going with it.
Yeah, I think that's all you can
I don't
do.
know what's going to happen in the future.
No one does.
No, I wish I just had this crystal ball. But yeah, so I'm just plodding and going with it and existing and
Doing well.
yeah,
I'm doing well.
riding the wave. How's your week been?
I had a good weekend. I went away for a weekend in a tree house, which was amazing. Anyone looking for like a nice weekend escape, even with kids, actually, it had these really cute little nooks for the kids to sleep. And I was thinking like my kids would, well, Theo would love
I
it.
was thinking to sleep in it.
Well, nearly. I did want to go in there. But yeah, really, really lovely weekend in a treehouse, which was so nice. Like I'm finding like my weekends without the kids are really, really lovely. And then, but I also love coming back and it just being, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I think one thing I've really noticed this week is like I'm having really lovely positive times and like I'm really loving the time with my kids. But I also think sometimes what people forget is like I'm also going through a divorce, and I don't think people talk enough about how hard that is, like the actual process. Like we had our first mediation session this week, and I obviously voice noted you, and like I don't know whether I just like hadn't really thought about it or what, but it really knocked me like unexpectedly, like just
It's draining.
it's draining, but it's also like I don't know, I feel like he is the only person in the world who makes me angry or brings up those feelings of like hate.
I feel like there's probably also, even when you let go of that person, there's still a lot of resentment there because you're going through this situation because of them. Do you know what I mean? I think it's still very, very hard.
For me, it's not necessarily resentment. I guess it's resentment in one way of like, you mentioned last week, like that accountability. We spoke about that last week. But the other thing that annoys me is like, the thing I struggle with is feeling like I knew someone for 10 years, and not that I ever thought we'd ever break up, but feeling like it's so scary then feeling like you are dealing with a total stranger. We've spoken about it before. I think sometimes because how I would choose to behave in a certain situation, you can't expect the same for others. And I think that's what I'm finding really challenging, is how I see things, and I'm really trying to put my kids first. I'm obviously not going to delve too much into details, but yeah, like this week, my anxiety, like my chest, I literally feel like my heart has been jumping out my chest all week. And when my anxiety's high, I feel less settled in my relationship, not because of anything my partner's done, but I'm just in that high state of like anxiety. And bless him, like he is, hats off to the guy, like he's been amazing with me this week. And I said to him, like, I think I need to come up with strategies as to what's going to help me on those days where, you know, I'm dealing with things to do with my divorce, because I didn't like how I felt and I need to take control. So I did start back yesterday, did my first gym session since last February.
Good for you.
So I feel like maybe that might be my way of coping. Like for me, exercise has always been like my mental health coping mechanism. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping,
I think that in general, when, and I think we've spoken about this previously, when you're going through a divorce but you're happy in a new relationship, I think a lot of people think that like, oh, she's fine now. She's met someone else.
100%.
She's happy with her kids. She's happy with her boyfriend.
She's living her best life.
Yeah, but actually, there is still this whole other part of your life where you're having to go through the emotion.
You're revisiting trauma.
Yeah, 100%. I remember we only went to one mediation and I literally left thinking like, I literally just paid someone to watch me argue for 2 hours.
How I
like, what a great job. Like
take your money.
Yeah,
thank you.
literally. And it does remind me of like, we were at such a bad place at one point, like attacking each other, like just not listening, like at each other's throats. I thought, well, how are we ever going to agree on anything?
Yeah.
So I really, really resonate. But I guess all I can say is I know every situation is different. Every person is different as well. And it depends on how you eventually come together and work it out. But like, I eventually got
divorced
through it. And I got divorced. So
I know, that's it. And I think
it's not usually an easy journey.
I like literally what you've said is like the nail on the head. Like I think a lot of people, because I am sharing that, I am experiencing some really nice highs at the moment, and that's great. And like I'm doing fun weekends away and I'm doing fun things with the kids. And whilst I'm trying to be really positive, like divorce is still really bloody hard. It is mentally draining. Like, and even not just the divorce part, but sometimes co-parenting or trying to still navigate having that other person is stuck in your life when all you really want is for them to disappear. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this week I am going to reach out to a couple of my friends to be like, hey, I'm really struggling. Like, I just need someone to vent to.
I think that's maybe sometimes we need to take...
Oh, it's my fault.
...for being like, oh, they're not there for me, so how out of order? Actually,
tell someone.
Let's be honest. If people have not gone through what we have been through,
they won't understand it. I agree.
I'm happy. I don't need to check on her. She's loved up. She's loving life. She's really content being on her own with the kids. I don't need to check on her. Fucking hell, she smashed it. Good for you.
And yeah,
like, goodbye. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes I think it is actually taking that.
But also, yeah, I think I agree. Like, I'm going to take responsibility this week, and there's a couple of people who I'm going to voice it and be like, hey, like, can I just vent to you for a minute?
Yeah.
But also, like, if you're listening to this and you do have a friend who's going for divorce and you do feel like, you know, they're doing pretty well and they're quite happy, like, check in on them, because I guarantee, like, they probably want to vent or punch a wall.
There's still stages that I haven't experienced yet. Yes, I might be divorced, but I still have a forever existing co-parenting relationship with a person that I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with. You know, I've still in the back of my mind, I know that one day there will be another person that I need to have my kid introduced to. And, you know, so there's going to be new.
There's always new things. Yeah.
And that's something that's probably my scariest. So yeah, I think it's just kind of like accepting what we can and reaching out to people when we need to, rather than sort of
waiting. Yeah, I agree.
Maybe they just don't know.
I think we just have to understand as well, like, everyone's got their own shit going on, and like our shit is just different to theirs. And it's like with anything, like you can't appreciate it until you are in that person's shoes or you've experienced it. I never thought, I mean, I don't actually know anyone else who's gone through divorce, like, in my generation.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like, guys, I'm the guinea pig. I'm taking it for the team. So if you need me, come to me, I will get it. But yeah, it's do you know what I find not hard about it, but I feel like because I'm experiencing really high highs, it makes the low lows harder, because I feel like it's really extreme here, and then like I literally felt like I was away. I had this amazing weekend away. I was like up here, and then on the Monday I had mediation, and straight away I'm like pulled back down, and like I find that mentally draining on like my mood, like feeling so positive and upbeat and like this is amazing, and then suddenly I'm like, oh fuck, like
no, I appreciate that. But yeah, hopefully at some point
right now, guys, and if you're going through divorce and you're at the point where you're like, how is this ever going to come to an end? Tash is like my pinnacle.
Do you know what? We didn't really touch on it properly last week, because I feel like I was too kind of like emotionally distracted with everything with my breakup. But I feel like I want to touch a bit more on actually going through those like emotions and stuff, and how I felt when I was like when I got that email being like, you are now divorced. It's the strangest thing, because I think like for so long I was like just constantly like, oh come on,
back and forward,
like I really want to get divorced, and then it was almost like this like weird anticlimax. Like me and my ex were at, well, as in like ex-husband. Now I've got two exes. So kid's dad, me and the kid's dad were like messaging, and I was like, so he messaged me being like, I think like it's all sorted with the solicitors. I was like, okay, now what? And he was like, I think we now just have to do it on the online application you apply for the final order, because you really shouldn't do that until your financial
orders in place.
Done. So that was done. Like the solicitors confirmed like this is all done. The courts have agreed it. So I remember just going onto like signing in, and I had to like change my password, because it's like you haven't signed in for 20 weeks. So like I had to like redo it all. Went in, and then it was just like click here to apply for the final order. So I just like clicked it, and I'm just sitting there waiting. And then I messaged him being like, I've done it. And he was like, okay. And then he literally just messaged me back being like, all done with divorce. And it's just like, I don't know. It's really, really weird. And then I got an email, it was like from the Gov website. It's like, confirmation of your application. You are now officially divorced.
Congratulations.
It didn't actually say, because
no, I suppose it's
it was just like, you are now officially divorced. And I was just a bit like, no what? So I remember messaging him, and I didn't know what to say. So I was like, yeah, I can see. And then I put I didn't know what to say. So I messaged him being like, congrats, lol. And then he replied being like, awkward, lol. And then I think I just put Merry Christmas, because it was just before Christmas. And then I don't know, like it was weird. I think we like had like a little moment messaging, and we both sort of said like it just feels, it's quite weird. Like you go from all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm not Mrs. anymore. Like I know we haven't been married, like we've been separated.
I can't imagine that feeling, because I feel like even though I'm legally still married, I feel so disconnected to him.
Like, I didn't feel married the whole time that we were going through the divorce, but now it's literally like, okay, I'm now like officially like
Miss. Well, yeah, I keep calling myself Miss. I've already gone back to my maiden name.
That's the thing, because you're going back to your maiden name, it feels weird for me to be Miss, my married name.
Yeah,
I feel like I need to refer to like Ms. No, not that I even know what Ms.
I don't know.
It's a bit of a bittersweet feeling, if I'm honest. Like, yes, I'm happy I'm divorced, but at the same time, it's a bit like, it's also quite sad. Like, you know, you get married, things didn't work out forever. So yeah, we both sort of said it was a weird feeling. It's a bit bittersweet. And then we just ended the conversation by saying like, really happy how our relationship is now, and we hope that now moving forward there's not going to ever be a reason for it to be any different.
Yeah.
And we sort of agreed, and that was like the end of the conversation. And I don't know, I just feel like for anyone that is at that point where they've just found out that they're divorced, I think it's okay to feel a bit sad. Not because, you know, you're like, oh, I want to get back with them, because I don't. But it's just like an end of a chapter.
I just can't imagine feeling sad at this point.
I think it's just sadness of like, okay, like it was almost like I could breathe. Like I can't explain. It was like it is that bittersweet.
There's a weight over you.
Now I don't need to do any more solicitor emails, paying any more solicitor. I don't know. It's just, and now breathe. And then it's a bit like, oh, like how weird, like we're divorced. But do you know what? It's really nice for it to be done. So yeah, there is that light, and you just got to know that like you're gonna get there. Okay, guys. So I wanted to read. This is called Dating Story.
Oh.
Okay, let's go. Hi guys, loving the podcast. Thought I'd send in my most recent dating dilemma. Sorry if it's a bit long. So New Year's Eve 2022, going into 2023, I met someone on a night out. See, I love that. I feel like you don't really meet people on nights out. Well, like I go anywhere. We instantly clicked, get on so well, which never happens for me. He came back to mine and we slept together. Then I didn't hear from him, so I assumed I was ghosted. A week after, he got in touch asking to see me. For him to then tell me he had a girlfriend, I wasn't happy with her and wanted to leave her.
No, red fucking flag. Red flag. Please step away from the take of me.
I feel like we need to buy some red flags.
Do you need to buy some?
Let's
do that.
Let's do it. I'm going to order some red flags and a green flag, perhaps.
Not many of those around at the moment.
I said I didn't want to be involved in an affair type thing, and that if he left her, we could start something, whether it be dating or just a FWB thing. What's that?
Buddy.
What's FWB?
Friends with benefits.
Yep. Sorry, I'm old school.
I only know because of the film. There's that film called Friends with Benefits.
I watched that the other week.
Great film.
Yeah, it's really good. You're so fit. We texted for a few weeks and then met up again for coffee. He said all the right things. I just couldn't help but like him despite him having a girlfriend. Mid-February, he left his girlfriend and we started spending more time together. I went on holiday and he stayed in my house to house sit. We went on lovely dates. He even took me for a spa day for my birthday and we had the best day. It got to June and he came over one night. He was on his phone a lot, which was unusual for him. He then went to the toilet and he got a notification. Oh, he left his phone. My instinct was to check his phone, so I did, and it was the girl that was messaging him. I didn't say anything about reading the text, but then started a conversation asking what we were. He said he wasn't really ready for anything serious.
Situationship.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think that someone saying that they don't want anything serious is a red flag as long as you're on the same page.
But you have to communicate about that.
Yeah.
But I also think, like, my opinion, I feel like, I don't know if I'm quite old school with things, but like, for me, like straight up, I want to know if someone's looking for something serious. Although saying that, like when I got into a relationship, I didn't know what I wanted.
Yeah.
So actually, maybe some people don't know. I didn't think I had.
To be honest, I was the same. I remember even saying, I'm not looking for Mr. Right, I'm looking for Mr. Right now. I just wanted to explore, date, have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And when you meet that person, you meet that person. But yeah, you've got to sort of be on the same
But I feel like me and my boyfriend now, I feel like from day one, we've been very upfront with things. I feel like, I don't know, but I don't, maybe just not everyone's like that, but then again, I wasn't like that with the person before. I'm only speaking from experience. Yeah, I do think I am particularly like wired to be old school. I really am.
No, I get that. I think sadly in this day and age, a lot of people aren't.
No, I feel like I was born in the wrong era sometimes. I want to be courted and
I literally want someone to come and collect me.
I want to be courted and take out dancing.
Write me a letter.
Bought beautiful with the flowers
waxed out.
Write me a love letter. Take note.
Can someone write me one? I don't have anyone. We were pretty much doing boyfriend and girlfriend stuff, but without the label. I believe that excuse is bullshit and decided to end it there. It hurt a lot. It hurt a lot more than my previous 8-year relationship ending, if I'm honest. A month later, July, I decided to do a bit of Facebook stalking to then find out he was in a relationship. He must have been seeing us both at the same time. Fast forward to January this year, he's come up on people I may know on Facebook. So I clicked on his profile to find out that he got married on New Year's Eve. The day that I met him. Unbelievable.
Married? You didn't know if he wanted anything serious.
He was obviously still with that girl.
The whole time.
He never broke up with her.
100%.
Was seeing you for a bit. Like, do we know if the girl that he's got married to is the girlfriend that he broke up with?
And does she know about you?
look, can I just say, I really resonate, obviously, with you saying that it hurt a lot more than your previous 8-year relationship. I mean, that's literally me right now. You obviously haven't mentioned, I'd like to think that you're feeling better now because it's been pretty much, 9 months?
Yeah.
Lucky escape.
Yeah,
It was a red flag from the get-go. He was messaging you. He got with you on a night out and slept with you, and he had a girlfriend.
I always think that if someone starts a relationship in a dishonest way, I genuinely believe in karma. Like, I literally believe in karma. Karma always comes around.
Yeah. I think it's very rare for relationships to start in a cheating situation and it continue in a healthy way. It may continue and never end, but you're not going to be happy. There'll be lack of trust there. If someone can cheat on their partner with you, they can then cheat on you.
100%.
So you made a lucky escape, babe. Thank you for sending it in.
Dilemmas. Hi, ladies. I've recently started listening to your podcast and they have been such a lifeline at this truly horrendous period of my life. I've been with my husband for nearly 17 years, married for 14, and we have 2 daughters, 9 and 6. Long story short, I always thought we were a strong couple and was happy in our relationship. However, the last 6 months of 2023, he became a completely different person and his behaviour towards me was horrible, avoiding being in the house, not speaking to me, no affection, lying about where he was, etc. He finally admitted to an affair after I confronted him last month. On my birthday, he didn't even get me a card. Trigger warning. That's triggering.
Why is it always on the birthdays? Why can't these men just let them know the day I want to start? Like, what?
Also, for someone who's trying not to give away they're having an affair, just get the bloody girl a card.
No.
I feel like that's what sometimes uncovers things.
But do you know what? Do you think that sometimes they want to get caught?
I don't know. So my experience,
maybe not so much wanting to get caught, but becoming really lazy with hiding it and
almost hoping you're laced it.
Yeah, almost hoping that I can't be bothered to make effort with you anymore. I don't want to be the bad guy. I'm going to be shit. So you end it, and then I've met someone a few weeks later. I think sadly, well, not maybe sadly, evidently, I think a lot of men that cheat are really cowardly. But at the end of the day, if you're not happy, then just leave and then go and be with someone else rather than trying to have your cake and eat it. These men are greedy cowards. Fuck you.
It's not all men, Tash.
No, the cheaty ones.
Then it's not only men that cheat.
Oh shit, that's what you meant. Women, fuck you.
So I don't know if I've mentioned it on the podcast before. I might have done. But last Valentine's Day, I'll come back to the story in a sec, but last Valentine's Day was one of the first times prior. So after, obviously, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that we had a crisis talk in the January and then kind of just plodded along through January. It got to Valentine's Day. Now, my ex has always said, apart from the very first year we were together, I don't do Valentine's Day. I'm like, you don't do Valentine's? What girl on this planet wouldn't like to have a day where they're shown how much? Yeah, I agree, you should be showing you're loved every day, but I understand it's a hallmark thing. Some people are like, but it's a lovely thing to be able to show someone you're loved, right? And I remember last year, he got me roses, which damn right he fucking should.
Mm-hmm. Bare minimum.
Bare min. Anyway, so he got me flowers, and I think he thought, that's that. Yeah. But I am very much a card person. And I'd got him a card, I'd got him a few little bits, whatever. So I was like, here's your card. And he was like, oh, I didn't get you a card. And I was like, for me, I would much rather have a card with something lovely written in. And that's how I knew. So I'd had that. I hadn't had a card on my birthday either in the November, when we were actually what I thought were good. And he claimed it's because we were just away on holiday and it was too much organisation. I didn't even get one from the kids, actually.
Too much organisation.
What, pack a card in your suitcase? Yeah, anyway. But for me, that really hurt. And I remember on that Valentine's Day, we had a massive fight because I was like, it's little things like that. I said, I am one of those people who the little things mean everything to me.
You know what I think it is it's not actually the card, it's the fact that the card means something to you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
well, it's also the thought process behind it. It's the fact someone's taken their time to choose me a card that makes them think of me.
Yeah.
They've chosen the word to write.
He wouldn't have
me.
been able to write it. So
But that's exactly what I think.
And it's funny because I had a card situation too, and I think I did mention this. It was Mother's Day. Mother's Day's around March, and we were really rocky from the Jan, and he got me a really crappy card from the kids, and it said Mum, and they don't call me Mum.
Yeah,
they call me Mummy, and I know to some people they may be like, oh my God, like it's just a card, but like to me it was the lack of effort, because you know cards mean a lot to me. You have some people that don't care about cards.
Yeah,
they won't care, and it won't be a red flag.
Different people, don't think just don't, yeah, a card.
If cards aren't your thing, but
it's always been a thing to me. Yeah.
So bare minimum stuff, guys.
Yeah. So bare minimum, guys. Or like for me, like I don't know. It's nice to be showered with love and like have those words of affirmation and. You know, like, so he was like, I remember him being like, but I got you flowers. I'm just like, wow. So, yeah, anyway. This Valentine's Day will be better, I'm sure.
My mind.
Oh, shit. I'll send you a card. Galentine.
I've already organised. I'm going to get really nice pajamas, girly pajamas. I think me and my sister and one of her friends, we're going to just like make dinner, and I'll probably just cry into my pillow.
That's cute. I won't tell you what I'm doing.
Please don't. I'm literally going to mute your stories. I'm going to mute everyone's story. Sorry.
I hate myself.
I hate you. So I'm so happy.
It kind of deserves some happiness.
You do. I am genuinely.
I do feel really bad sometimes. I'm like, oh, fuck.
No, I'm not that person though. Like, I'm not bitter. Like,
I know you're not. No,
I'm genuinely so happy for you and anyone that's happy. Like, it brings, all it does is it confirms to me that hopefully I'll have that.
You will have that.
But yeah, I can honestly say, like, the thought of Valentine's right now is...
Well, last year I actually took the boys to the zoo on my own.
Did you?
Weird thing to do on my own. I've never done that. I think my body was like preparing myself for single motherhood because...
You were together.
I was together, and I took the boys to Colchester Zoo on my own. Am I insane?
What did I do last Valentine?
Spent it with the true loves of my life.
I was at Penny Hill Park. You get the violins there.
Anyway,
to do a Valentine's episode.
We might have to.
Okay, anyway, back to the email.
Right, sorry. Anyway, there was something about a card. On my birthday, he didn't even get me a card. And although he says it's long finished, he realises he no longer loves me and wants to separate/divorce. He said his poor behaviour was due to him feeling ashamed and trying to hide away from his issues. He is still in the house while he sorts out somewhere to go, and we are actually being amicable, although I find this extremely hard. We haven't told the children yet, but we do need to do this soon. I'm struggling to accept that he has made the decision single-handedly to split up and is not willing to work on things or try to make it work. He's completely checked out. Dilemma number 1. He doesn't want to tell the kids about the affair and in my opinion doesn't want to be the bad guy. I think we should tell them and be completely honest because I do not want them to find out from someone in the school playground. I don't think kids need to know. That's my opinion.
I think they will know one day.
They will know. They will know.
But I never sat down with the kids and put blame on their dad because...
Look, I'll be honest, my kids are probably... My kids are younger and I'll be honest, like Theo definitely overheard some things at the start and if I could go back in time, I would change it. But I also think sometimes when you're in those raw moments, it happens and we can't beat ourselves up for it. I just don't think it's the right thing to do to sit your kids down and to say that because as well, like they only get one dad and they don't get to choose who their dad is and you don't want them to have this picture that their dad is a bad person.
I also think that the ages, especially the 9-year-old, I feel like that's quite a dangerous... I don't want to use the word dangerous, that's the wrong word. It's an age where they can understand to a certain extent. You could then tarnish the relationship that child has with their dad and that could in turn end up falling back on you and blaming you for being so open. I personally would never sit down.
I just think they're adult issues. I think the reason you've broken up are grown-up issues that, again, like children that age will spend so much time ruminating and overthinking and like feeling sad or angry and feelings I don't believe they need to. I don't believe it's their responsibility to process issues that are adult issues. That's my opinion.
No, I agree.
And I think, look, when the time comes and they're older, kids find out. Like, there's people I know who've grown up, went through divorce when they were kids. They know which parent had an affair.
I feel like, we sat down with our kids together, and however much I may have felt strongly like a dislike to him at the time, I didn't sit there making them aware, like, by the way, just to let you know, like, daddy's done this. Like, I just don't think that's a healthy way to do it. I think that you need to show them that you're as amicable as possible. I know you said that. Can you repeat it? Did she say something about, like, I know that he doesn't want to be seen to be the bad guy? They're 9 and 6. There should be no bad guy. Let them still love their dad.
Yeah.
And hopefully, he'll still be there. He won't let them down, although he's let you down. And let them figure it out when they're older. That they're. I know also you said that you're worried about them finding things out. There's things that my kids don't know that other people do know about the split of my marriage. And I cannot imagine it's ever going to be discussed in the playground. And I
wouldn't spend time like worrying about it. Like if one of your children comes home and something has been discussed, that's something to worry about if and when that happens. I don't think that should be the reason. I just think the kids are too young. I mean, I wouldn't do it to any age kids. I just don't think, in my opinion, I don't believe putting blame on any parent, as frustrating and as raw and as painful as it feels to you and as unjust as it feels to you, it's not your choice that this is happening. That shouldn't be absorbed into like the kids. I don't think they need to be worrying about adult problems.
Yeah, I really agree.
Dilemma 2. He is a coach at a professional sports team and the affair was with someone he met through one of the club sponsors. He refuses to tell me her name. Do I contact the club to dob him in? I feel that he is getting away without any sort of punishment or reprimand, and although I don't necessarily want him to lose his job, I feel that at least deserves a bit of stick from his colleagues. The woman's partner apparently does not know. Again, I'm giving my opinion on this like 10 months out, because I remember at the start of my relationship ending wanting to find out every single detail I could regarding my situation. However, I'm coming at you way more level-headed.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make a difference. Like, you getting justice, I'm going to say, because there is no justice. Making people aware, it doesn't make the situation better. It won't make you feel any better.
Do you know what? You'll get a short-term fix or
that hit of like, found out who she is.
Fuck you, like, take that, like, but then you'll realise, okay, I'm still in the same place.
Look, you've got the facts you need to know. He had an affair. He may or may not still be with this person, but actually the fact that you now know that he can disrespect you in that way, he can treat you in a way that actually, quite frankly, you deserve a hell of a lot more. Take that knowledge and do with that what you will, and be like, do you know what? I do deserve to be treated in the right way. I do deserve to be with someone who is loyal and doesn't lie. And look, I completely get where you're coming from. I know in that moment you want to know every detail. You want to absolutely ruin their life. And I'm not sat here like on my high horse looking down and being like, oh my God, like, why would you want to do that? Like, I did some of those things, and hindsight, does it even matter? Does it even matter? No, it doesn't. Because you can't change what's been done. You can't change the person he is or has become. And I think sometimes you just have to accept your new set of circumstances very much for what they are.
Yeah. And I think that you also don't want to end up being responsible for potentially him losing his job. I know it's his doing, but I think just sort of keep in your lane and do right by you and the kids, and don't lower your standards to kind of like have one up on him, because I don't think it really get you anywhere.
And it kind of sounds like you haven't had your light bulb moment yet where you've thought like, thank God I know all this now. And I feel like that is coming. Yeah. And you know, look, I'm saying this from someone who has been through it, and the way you're speaking, like I felt those things at the start. You kind of feel like you want
revenge.
You do. You want revenge, as brutal as that sounds. Like, you're like, this person broke my heart.
Name me a woman who hasn't had their heart broken that doesn't want revenge on that person that broke their heart. Like, I get it, but take it from people who have been there and realise it doesn't.
It's one of the emotions of grief is that anger.
Yeah.
That's part of the grieving process.
Write it all down.
Yeah.
Vent to your friend.
Go to a rage room.
Yeah, I think I need that.
We can do
Can we?
There's one near me.
Take me there.
There's one near me, we'll book it.
I don't even have that much rage. I think I'll just sit in the room and cry.
I'll be smashing everything up still. I'll break that. Bring that. Take this, you know.
Yeah, write it down, vent to your friends. Just don't lower yourself to his standard.
And also know, like, your light bulb moment is coming. Like, you'll look back and be like,
yeah,
God, I'm out of that. Like, it literally, her problem, not your problem.
And do you know what? I do appreciate, she said she was with him for 17 years. It's a fucking long time. Take it from someone that was with someone for 17 years. I honestly didn't see my life without him. And things get better and you can find someone better. And I know you're hurting right now and you're angry and you're upset. And it's like, I can't believe he did this to me. And he's got away with it and he's in this nice relationship and he's got this good job and you could potentially mess it up for him. But also, he'll use that against you. Like,
be the
bigger person. Yeah, be the bigger person. Try. Yeah, thank you for sending in. Okay, dating with kids. Hi, ladies. Love the podcast. Thank you for sharing all your experiences. Like you both, I'm a solo mum, starting to think about dating now. Listening to one of your podcasts, which was great and so funny, I wanted to ask you how you approach dating with the topic of having kids and dating with kids. My ex doesn't have our daughter overnight, so it's a bit tricky, but I'm so anxious to even date and say, I have a daughter. How did you overcome that? I mean, I only ever dated through the dating app, and I had on there that I had children, because in my eyes, I felt like even if I was just wanting to like meet someone for, you know, a casual thing, whatever it was, I felt like I don't need to hide that I'm a mum. So I'd like to think that if people actually read my profile rather than just looked at the photos, they would have approached me or spoke to me knowing, even after, I was more worried about when they were like, oh, I see you have kids, how many? Because I think that 3 is quite daunting.
Yeah. I'm the same. I think I had it in my profile. I don't actually remember, but I do know it's one of the first things I said, because for me it's still a no deal, isn't it? Like,
well, I think at the end of the day, like, I don't think it's something that you should be ashamed of or hide. You come with a child,
or
like
2 or 3.
Yeah, like they are part of you. So it's like, this is me, accept it or don't. So I don't think that you need to be worried of overcoming, like telling someone you have a child. Like, no, that is you. So if they want to take you,
I agree.
You are great. If not, bye.
For me, I met my boyfriend on a dating app, and one of the first things must have been over a bank holiday weekend, because he like asked, like, had I done anything, and that's how I broached it. I was like, oh, actually, I
took my kid.
I have kid. I spent it in soft play. I've got 2 kids, and he was like, oh, and he's got 3 kids, and that actually I felt that actually was one of our connector things. I feel like, for me, instantly, when I spoke to someone who got it, I really liked that. And I think prior to him, I don't actually think I'd spoken to anyone with kids. And I didn't know, don't get me wrong, I wasn't looking for a boyfriend. I wasn't looking for a relationship. I don't think I knew whether, if and when the time came, whether I'd wanted to see someone with or without kids, until that moment when I found, I don't know, just when we started speaking, the connection was literally instant. Like it flowed. We got each other. He's also going through a divorce. So it's very much living
the same page.
We're on the same page.
Yeah.
And I think one thing you have to be more open-minded with is right now is, don't get me wrong, it's really scary. And I feel like dating has changed a lot since I was single, like 10 years ago. The apps were only just starting. So I'd never used a dating app before. And the whole concept of, like, it's scary. But I also think, like, nowadays, I literally feel like everyone meets their partners on apps. I know, so we've had so many people write into us who have met, like,
on
the second love of their life through apps.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, I get stories all the time, like, we're one big blended family and it's amazing. And I think there's some really positive stories. So I would definitely be, like, open-minded. Like,
and like what you did, I'd maybe go in with the sort of conversation of, like, casually putting them in there. So you're not just like, hi, I have a kid. It's more like, oh, what did you do?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I spent it with my kids. Or I don't have my kids this weekend, but with their dad. And at the end of the day, they're either going to be okay with it or they're not. And
if they're not, then don't waste your time.
Yeah. So.
And I think with where you said, like, about, did she say something about the nights? Like, their dad doesn't have. So have you got any family or friends who could maybe have them for a night, like here or there?
Yeah.
It's always hard in those situations. Or could you maybe, when their dad does have them, could you maybe do a coffee or just something more casual?
Or do you know what? You get a babysitter and, you know, you don't need to spend the night with somebody. You can go out for a few hours.
100%. Okay, this one's called Self-Help. Hi, ladies. Firstly, I'd like to say I'm not going through a breakup, but find your podcast extremely therapeutic anyway. I like that too. I look forward to Thursdays and I just love both of your Instagrams. I know both of you talk about self-help and filling your own cup. Over the past few years, I've come to realise I'm quite an insecure person, and I think in turn it makes me quite controlling. Almost like things need to be on my terms or I'm pissed off. I have a stepdaughter, 2 of my own children, and a very headstrong partner, so the sense that I don't have control of my house/life comes often, and the anxiety that it ensues is sometimes overwhelming. I sabotage my own happiness. I can make a mountain out of a molehill. And honestly, it's just a trait that I hate about myself. All that being said, I don't know how to change. I've recently done some research and would love to know how you fill your own cup and how you stop being insecure, as I believe this could help. Both of you seem like confident young women. Young. With your, thanks Botox. With your shit together, and I just want to be like that. I'm not an unhappy person, but these traits make me unhappy. Thanks for reading. Any help would be so appreciated.
I think my confidence was, like, low when I separated from my kid's dad. And I think the thing that maybe helped that was definitely therapy, journaling a lot. And then kind of like reflecting on my good points. You know how I've obviously said that, like, when you go through a breakup, and I understand that you're not going through one, but when I had to write down, like, the 25, like, things, like, benefits of not being with my ex, I then was made by my therapist to write 50 good things about myself, and I struggled. Like, 50 is a lot. But it was little things, like, even like, I'm really loyal, I'm a good listener, I think I'm quite funny. But, like, actually, like, really, like, self-reflecting and thinking about things about yourself. So I want you to go away when you listen to this and write 50 things that you like about yourself and read those and really appreciate that, like, you know, what traits are good. You know, you're a good mum. You've taken on someone else's children. That in itself speaks volumes about the type of person you are. And then maybe trying to find something for you. Yeah. Whether it's a hobby or...
I also think it's quite interesting that that's your perception of us, because actually as a person at the moment, I'm probably the most insecure I've ever been. And I do think that is... And I've never been an insecure person. No, I don't. I have never... That's never something I would have ever associated as a trait of mine. And I feel like it's only as a result of my marriage ending and the way my marriage ended that has made me insecure. And it's something that I'm really aware of at the moment is, wow, I'm insecure. So I know in myself, like, that's my own self-worth. But one thing like that's really helping me is like being honest with your partner as well. Like, I'm very honest with my boyfriend, and I say to him, like, I feel insecure sometimes about certain things. Like, I think it's, I don't know, given what I've gone through, I feel like sometimes it's quite normal to feel insecure about, I don't know, just essentially being scared the same might happen, or just, it can be little things. And like, sometimes I completely related to what you were saying, like when you feel insecure, like your anxiety is like sky high. And I feel like that's really what I've been feeling like this week is I feel like when my anxiety goes up, my insecurity goes up. I feel like when my anxiety is low, I feel a lot more secure. And I'm like, well, I know what I have to offer. Like as much as like I love being with my boyfriend, like he's lucky to be with me. I'm a kind and caring person. And I think things like that, like literally speaking positive things to yourself, like as a conscious process. And I'm trying to do that more. Is like in the morning, I try and look in the mirror and say 3 good things to myself. Like, I don't know, it might be you're doing a really good job as a mum, like on your own at the moment. It might be like, you know, you are really caring towards other people. It might be, I don't know, like I feel like I'm a very loving person. And sometimes it's stepping back and knowing and accepting that that is all in your head. It is only you fighting yourself. And it isn't, sometimes we like, when we feel insecure, we feel like those are facts. And like, that is a fact that, you know, you're not good enough or this or that. But one thing I found really helpful when I'm having those high anxiety days, because I've kind of like seen a pattern in where I go like on those days, is I'm very open now. And I say, just to let you know, like my anxiety is sky high today. Like my chest feels like my heart feels like it's going to come out my chest. I could really do with some help, like regulating or like, and he's honestly like so amazing with it. I don't know why I'm getting emotional about it. I know, sorry. I've just never had someone who's like cared about that. And that, like, I think that's why my relationship now I'm in is actually working so well, because that communication and that being honest about, but I can actually say like my anxiety is sky high, like I feel so dysregulated, like my brain like can go off on a tangent sometimes, and to have someone say, or he says to me like, what can I do to help? And I'm now learning, like, so sometimes we're talking this week, this was after my mediation, my anxiety was really high, and he's a bit of like a fixer, and so he always comes up with like solutions to problems. And I realised at the time I wasn't looking for a solution, I was looking for comfort rather than a solution. And I didn't realise that's what I needed. And again, it's all like a learning process. So now I'm going to say to him on those days, like, or he'll say to me, are you looking for a solution or are you looking for comfort? Or I'll be like, you know, my anxiety is really high, I need help regulating. I could really do with some comfort right now, or just like some words of affirmation. I am very much, ever since we spoke about our love languages, oh my God, I'm so aware of it. And both of us, we've been speaking a lot about his definitely physical touch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
So am I. Well, I'm physical touch and I say words of affirmation. So we are very similar. Like, actually, I feel like he's words of affirmation as well. So we kind of give and receive love in very similar ways. Mm-hmm. So like my biggest piece of advice is like, be honest with your partner. Like, partners should be there to support you and help you and like help alleviate those feelings, like, and regulate you and calm you down and get you to a point where you do feel like safe and secure. And I feel like that in turn calms you down and makes you happier. That's my advice.
Yeah, no, I agree. Definitely like communicating it with your partner.
You don't have to go through it alone. And I don't think you need to accept like that is just you. It's not. It's a period that you're experiencing, and there might be certain things that trigger you feeling that way. So I feel like you almost like need to like Tash said, like therapy or journal, and try and like discover what makes you insecure. Like, what is it that's unsettling you?
Like reflecting on like the good. Yeah, making that list.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I agree. But definitely communicate. Like, not that I didn't know how important communication was before everything, but it's really highlighted to me, like, communication can change everything.
yeah. Okay, let's go with a confession of the week.
Love.
Okay. Thank you for sending these in, by the way.
We want more. We want more.
Hi, girls. Love the podcast. Wanted to send you my confession. Please keep this anonymous. I'm going to keep this short. I've been working at my new job for 3 months. One of the reasons why I really like it is because I have a bit of a thing for my boss. He is married. For the last few weeks, there's been a few inappropriate comments, and then a week ago, we ended up sleeping together.
Oh, shit. Don't do that.
I know it's really bad. He says that he's not happy. I haven't really got anything else to say, but I wanted to give you my confession.
Don't be the other woman. Don't be the other woman. Am I meant to be giving advice or just accepting this as a confession?
Do you know what? The thing is, in order for people to cheat, there's always got to be another woman or another man. Otherwise, it wouldn't happen. And all I would say is, if he's married, I mean, you've slept with him already. And I think it's very difficult for women when they sleep with someone to not catch feelings or...
I just also would be mindful that he's your boss, and I don't know, do you want to jeopardize your professionalism and your career potentially?
Like, do you not think that working in the place of having sex with your boss, it's almost a bit downhill from there?
Yeah.
Sorry to like be a bit of a like burst in your bubble, but
I feel like it's probably really exciting at the time, and
then on reflection, you're a bit like... The thing is, I think Carly and I can probably speak for both of us when I say that we're not really ones to kind of like root for the other woman. I think all I would say is you can do better than being with someone that's willing to cheat on their wife. So
yeah, like, also just be wary if he's done that to his wife, maybe don't catch feelings.
Yeah, because he's not a good guy. Get a pay rise.
And run.
There's my advice. Get a pay rise.
Get out.
And yeah. Guys, thank you for sending that in. Make sure you carry on sending your confessions, your dilemmas, your dating, funny situations, happy endings, like red flags, unhappy endings. So anyway, sex stories. I want a sex story. Send me in your sex stories. I need to live through someone by character. Shall we end with an affirmation of the week? Here we go, guys. Hard truth. Doing what's best for you isn't always going to feel good every time.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So, yeah, you know, sometimes we need to make decisions like that person that wants to tell her kids about the dad doing wrong. That's not the right thing. Sometimes we need to do things that are right, and they may not feel good at the time, but in the long run, that's the way forward. So, yeah, thank you guys.
Let's see you next week. Share, like, follow, love, whatever. Keep it coming. And yeah, we will catch up next week. Have a great one.
Bye.